Black Ops 4 Zombies is the 5th installment of the original Treyarch zombie storyline, and it looks like it could be coming to a close very soon, as in officially, like, this is the end. No more Richtofen, Nikolai, Dempsey, or Takio. There are several reasons to believe why this is the last time we'll get to see the original crew. One of the most obvious reasons behind this idea is the fact that the zombie storyline has been going on forever at this point. Over 10 years to be exact, and it's really just, it's time for it to come to a close. I know all of us really don't want to say goodbye to the story, but all things have just got to come to an end, and unfortunately it's time to let go. Treyarch obviously doesn't want to abruptly stop the storyline. They want to kind of ease us into a new one, and they know that no Richtofen and crew will result in less sales and overall less interest in the game, so they're gonna still put them into Black Ops 4, but it's gonna be one last time, and Blood of the Dead is kind of looking like it's gonna be the very last map we're gonna get with these characters, so hopefully it's a good ending to this, you know, this 10-year-long journey we've been with these characters. And the Chaos story is probably going to be the story we get DLCs for and everything, and Blood of the Dead just exists so they could bribe more people into buying the game, to be honest. I don't really care that they're doing this, it just makes sense from a marketing standpoint to do it, and also the fact that we just want more of them. I mean, let's be honest, we just want to see more of the characters, but let's be real, at the end of the day, it just has to end at some point. So their scheme here is to draw us in with the old and introduce us to the new, which they hope we'll fall in love with. I don't know that zombies will ever be the same without these guys right here, but it's Treyarch and they know what they're doing, so I'm looking forward to the Chaos storyline just as much as the Blood of the Dead storyline, so hopefully it's gonna be good. How's it all gonna end? Black Ops 3 ended in a rather disappointing way. Unfortunately, it left us at a cliffhanger like Treyarch seems to love doing. But look at it this way, if we were left satisfied with the end product, then less people would return for more. I think Treyarch knows this, and they give us boring endings that leave us wanting more, so we always end up coming back to the next game to see what happens next. It's really all just a strategy to keep us interested in the games, and now with Black Ops 4, since they're probably going to end the storyline completely, I think they're going to finally give us that satisfying ending we've been looking for. And I think it's gonna be like something like maybe a 10-minute long cutscene or something. That would be really satisfying. And ever since the release of the Blood of the Dead intro cutscene, there's just been a lot of speculation about Richtofen dying or something crazy like that happening. And over the years, Treyarch has been teasing this, and I think that it's officially time to end the story. And I think that they're going to do it by killing off Richtofen and ending the loop that they've been stuck in forever now. So I think that NMWood98, a user over on the subreddit for COD Zombies, submitted a great theory about how and why our characters are now stuck in Mob of the Dead. He goes on to type this whole article, and I'm going to read it in full here. I'm going to leave a link down in the description below if you want to check it out yourself, but what he writes goes as follows. In order to fully explain this theory, I have to explain the blood vials, which by the way is a theory as to how the blood vials work. Kernorium excerpt 2710198. Holy cow, that's a huge excerpt number. The life force from the dead world allows the bearer to flow with all creation. Life force equals blood, dead world equals purgatory. The blood vials only work because it's blood from people in purgatory. This is also an explanation to what the stasis chambers under the lab do. The stasis chambers under the lab place Victus into purgatory, allowing their blood to also work. Think about it. What's the difference between the blood of Victus or the blood of Mob of the Dead characters compared to blood of Primus? Primus themselves are from Dimension 63. Why did Richtofen go through so much effort to get the blood from Victus and the Mob of the Dead characters? Why couldn't he just get random blood from the original Dimension or Dimension 63? It's because the blood needs to be from Purgatory. In the timeline, the Mob of the Dead entry goes as follows. Mob of the Dead. Sal, Finn, Billy, and Al battle waves of the undead as they find themselves trapped in a seemingly endless cycle. The timeline tells us that they are continuously fighting in a cycle that is seemingly endless. The key thing is that the cycle keeps going, trapping the Mob of the Dead crew in purgatory. Since the Mob of the Dead crew is in purgatory, this allows the blood vials for 2 of the Primus characters to work. Richtofen and 1 other Primus character has blood from Sal and Finn, and the rest have blood from the Victus crew, which is sourced in one of the Call of Duty Zombies comics. So now this is a major fact that the entire Primus cycle or loop relies on Mob of the Dead to be in a cycle. He goes on to say, but here is what I am posting. The Weasel breaks the cycle in Mob of the Dead. When he breaks the cycle, what happens to the Mob of the Dead characters? They're no longer in purgatory. This causes the Primus cycle to fail. The blood no longer protects them. The timeline, the one Richtofen read, no longer works, and thus the Chronorium changes. In Blood of the Dead, Richtofen reads the new timeline and realizes what's happened, and he realizes that what he's been following within the original timeline no longer exists. Now what's going to happen is that the cycle is broken. So obviously all of this is a bit convoluted, so it's hard to keep up with the storyline considering we also have comics now that provide even more insight into the story. It's really hard to follow all the goings on in a video game world that, you know, it doesn't exist. But it's hard to care about that kind of stuff. But in summary, what's going on here is that the Mob of the Dead crew were supposed to be in purgatory forever. That way the blood from the prisoners was actually useful. But since Arlington escaped the loop, he managed to screw over Primus, rendering the blood useless, aka why the Richtofen waiting for them at Alcatraz doesn't have the blood. He isn't post-Revelations Richtofen necessarily, he's just another Richtofen that happened to read the Chronorium, only to realize that it's changed now and that the blood is no longer useful. So he managed to invite another crew from another dimension and then he screws them over. Unfortunately, that means that now this crew is stuck in purgatory and they need to find a way out. There's no evidence anywhere that suggests that Richtofen is like 100% going to sacrifice himself on the map, but Treyarch have been making hints for this for years now, that Richtofen is going to make some sort of ultimate sacrifice perhaps and save those around him. One of those hints being a cipher message from Gorod Krovi that reads, I know at some point in the future I will be in a situation where I put the needs of the many ahead of my own life. I will save the world. I think that he knows the inevitable way this will all end will be with him killing himself to save his friends' lives. So it would be a really sad ending to the storyline and honestly just a great emotional way to end everything. And obviously Arlington had to save himself from his fellow inmates in Mob of the Dead to escape the loop, but maybe this time Richtofen has to kill himself to end the loop to save his friends. It really makes sense. Richtofen is just an incredibly selfish and egotistical person, and it would make sense from like a character's arc perspective to have him end his own life to save the others. I mean, look at what he literally did to himself. He trapped himself in purgatory just to save himself. He's an asshole. So I think it would just make sense storyline wise. The only thing that I really think might save Richtofen if he doesn't kill himself is the transit crew. It would be absolutely hilarious if they somehow removed them from the cryopods and made them stay in the purgatory or something like that. It would be hilarious, but not as satisfying as Richtofen making the ultimate sacrifice in a badass ending to this 10-year-long journey of a story. So, although now that I think about it, I don't think that would work because the transit crew have been there for a while. I'm not really sure. It's really just extremely confusing, and the only way we're gonna get an answer to any of this is by playing Blood of the Dead when it comes out in October 12th, and we're just gonna have to finish the Easter egg as a community and see all the little tiny Easter eggs around the map and all the ciphers and everything, and we're just gonna have to piece it all together as a community and see what the outcome of this will be. So even if it all comes to an end for Primus, we still have a whole nother story to deal with the Ultimus crew in the new 5 remake called Classified, where we get to continue the story from Black Ops 1 and see where the original characters went after they blew up the Earth from Griffin Station on the moon. That's crazy. We get to see where they went. So I think that that's going to be interesting as well to see where they go from there. But other than that, let me know down in the comment section below what you think about this theory. Do you think that Richtofen will possibly die in Blood of the Dead? Maybe make an ultimate sacrifice or something like that? Do you think that maybe he needs to do the same thing that Arlington did? Maybe kill the rest of his friends and then get out of the purgatory? I just don't think that that one really makes sense, but let me know what you think. I want you to tell me down in the comment section below what you think about this theory, but other than that, that's gonna be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a rating, please subscribe, and have a wonderful day. See you on the next one.